Texas Small Farmers and Ranchers CBO.
Episode, our knowledge forum, unlocking opportunities, and what is it called? Geothermal opportunities. Did I get
Yes,
that right?
geothermal opportunities on your land or farm.
All right. So we're missing a few guests tonight, but that's okay. We gonna keep this thing going and excited about what we have to share tonight. Some quick housekeeping items, and I'm gonna hand it over to my man Uche. But this is a 90, we're going up to 90 minutes. If it goes shorter, no problem. We'll get y'all back to your families. Everyone's muted except for the panelists and our special guests here tonight. But we will be doing Q&A at the end. We'll be opening that up. This will be more of a fireside chat format. But we encourage, Uche will say this several times, but we encourage you to use the chat as well. That's when we get a lot of great dialogue. So with that said, I'm gonna pass it on to you, Uche.
Awesome. Thank you, Phil. Appreciate you. Welcome, everyone, to our monthly knowledge forum. Well, bi-monthly now. Knowledge forum. We're very grateful to have you all here. We have some people already in attendance, so that's exciting. We're looking forward to more people joining us as the event goes on. But our first action, our first business that we have to take care of is like we would love to learn more about who's joining us today. We have a really small poll slash quiz that we launched. We call it's an icebreaker, really. It is, and it should pop up, and you should all see it. And we have three questions we always ask everyone. And because we are all about supporting farmers and ranchers, we believe that it's important to learn about your journey towards farming and ranching. And the first question is, where are you joining us from? And the second question is, what do you produce or hope to produce on your farm/ranch? And the third question is, what type of livestock do you raise or hope to raise on your farm/ranch? We encourage everyone to at least answer the first question because we love to learn where you're coming, where you're joining us from. That's always exciting to learn. If you want to share what you're trying to grow or what you're trying to raise on your ranch, we would love to hear that as well. So I'll start with me. I have zero answers, and I don't know why. I know y'all. I see six people on there, so y'all please answer. But I'll start with me. My name is Uchenai Agba. I am in San Antonio, Texas. I'm currently producing a whole bunch of herbs and basil and arugulas and whatnot. So lots of, the little stuff for my dishes. Would I love to own a farm? Yes. My journey is tumultuous from farming. My family owns land back in Nigeria and I love it. So farming is in my heart, in my soul. And yeah, I hope to one day produce cabbages and lettuces because I love leafy greens. Would I have animals? You know what? I don't know about animals yet. Phil's gonna talk to me and be like, "Hey, get you some small livestock." But yeah, small livestock is great for your farm. It's great for your natural grazing patterns. Helps you cultivate your soil because we all believe in good soil at Texas Farmers and Ranchers. So I have some people have answered. I usually give a 2 minute chance for everyone to answer. If you're not answered, that's okay. If you answer, that's great. Oh, we are at the 2 minute mark. If you want to answer, drop it in the chat. We would love to learn more. But I'm gonna end the icebreaker right now, and I'm gonna learn more about y'all in a second. So I'm gonna view this because I always believe, you gotta like look at. Oh, I'm in the wrong window, y'all. See, already started with technical difficulties, and now moving on to more. But that's okay. We pivot and we move along as we should. So let me open up the survey. Okay. We have another person, one of our guests, Texas. Yes, we have Dallas, Texas in the house. Woohoo. We got North Carolina by the way of Tennessee. Welcome, welcome. We'd love to have you. We have a guest from Crowley, Texas. Okay, yeah. And we have another guest from Katy, Texas. I was just in Katy on Sunday. So please, welcome, welcome. Um, all right, we have some more guests. And the answer to number two, what do you produce or hope to produce on your farm slash ranch? We have a guest that said herbs. Me too. See, herb buddies. I love it. I love it. We have another guest that said vegetables and flowers. Yes, something about a good flower garden or flower farm will just like it's so beautiful. Like you just walk through and you just smell all the beautiful flowers out there. Another guest said hay slash feed and solar. There we go. Oh, someone already got some eco hub going on in their space. I would love to see this. That's awesome. Well, welcome, welcome. And another guest says, I don't know. That's okay. That's why we are here. We're here to provide education and knowledge. So as you go about your decision making in what you want to farm on your plant on your farm or livestock, you can make that right decision for you personally because every soil is different. And you're going to hear that often from Phil that every soil is different. So thank you so much for being here. That's perfectly fine. We are appreciative of your attendance. And number three, what type of livestock do you raise or hope to raise on your farm slash ranch? We have one guest say goats. I love me some goat meat. I know, I know. I don't know if they're pets to everyone, but I eat goats. I love goat meat. I'm a big fan. I grew up eating it. You know, my dad always said, don't become friends with the goats. Dinner will be served shortly. That was his thing. So, I used to treat them as pets when I was younger. Another guest said chickens and rabbits. Yes, small livestock. Small livestock is pivotal to your urban farm or large farm and in soil health. Um, Another guest said dash and dashes. I don't know what that is, but I'm guessing you are growing something. And that's good. And then another guest said goats, cows, but want to be more recreational and resort-like, but it's in the 100-year flood zone. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting. Well, honey, you know what? I'd like to learn more about how we can pivot a farm like that because there are multiple opportunities that could be available to you. But of course, having goats and cows is pivotal to that flood zone as well because the soil should be rich, rich enough for them. So yeah. Well, that is the last of it, Phil. We got all the questions answered, and I'm very excited for today's guest. I am totally stoked. We got a chance to have a short conversation with her earlier before the start of the knowledge forum, and I tell you, she is one dynamic woman, y'all. Like we have a special, special person. This person's been to the White House. Okay, I don't understand. And when I mean the White House, I'm saying prior White House. I don't know about this one, but I know she was there prior to advocating for underserved farmers like you and I. And I guess I'll jump right into the bio, so that y'all can.
Oh yeah, jump on in. I'm excited to get to it. This is an exciting topic, bro. So let's get to it.
All right, so I'm excited to introduce to all of you Sharita Humphrey. Sharita is an award-winning finance expert, speaker, and former government auditor who empowers people to take control of their finances and businesses. Her journey from financial hardship to financial educator makes her uniquely equipped to speak about what real economic empowerment can look like, especially for farmers and landowners who want to secure their futures through ownership and infrastructure. Everyone, please welcome Sharita Humphrey.
Thank you all so.
There she is.
Thank you all so much. Oh, thank you. Thank you for having me. I am super excited, Ross. Like I said, we had an amazing conversation before this. I'm excited about this fireside chat, to really be able to help. Like you said, this is a assignment, not a passion project. I'm on assignment to do this work, and so I'm excited to be able to talk about what we're doing and the solution that we have with our GeoEcoHub and how we got here.
Yes.
All
Well,
right. Well, I'm gonna jump in. I'm gonna go first, Uche. I
sir.
want to get straight to it. I know we typically ask, for you to share a little bit about your background and your journey, but before we jump into that,
Okay.
can you tell us, talk to us like we're 4-year-olds? What is geothermal energy and why is it important for us to understand what it is?
So I'm going to make this really, really simple. I have to explain this. Geothermal is the heat underneath our feet. So if you just kind of think about it, it's already there. Our great earth, and whoever you believe in, has already made those things for us to be able to tap into. And so this is a renewable energy that's probably by far is going to be one of the cleanest. It takes a lot of work to get to it, but the great thing about it is that my team and I have identified rural communities across the state and across the country that we feel have the the highest possibility of producing geothermal energy and reducing energy costs for the next 30 to 50 years. So this is why we're really excited about this project. I think this is why our investors are excited about this project. And let's just be honest, from a bipartisan support, both are supporting geothermal because we're looking for in other ways outside of solar and wind to be able to power, especially in Texas. I'm in Houston. 500,000 people moved to Houston last year. We can't sustain that type of um, growth when we're talking about our microgrid. Of course, we see what happens when it climate, and we know that's going to happen. And so really being able to utilize and tap into geothermal. And the great thing about it is that we're going to be using enhanced geothermal. So I think for Mr. Ross, I've put together a team of experts, including myself, with over 50 years of experience, including energy, um, battery storage, renewables in every sense. And one of the great things about it, he's not here because he's actually in Vancouver, and doing great work there. But my business partner builds smart cities overseas. So this is not a new initiative for us as a group, but it is a new opportunity for us to be able to bring economic opportunities and growth to rural communities. So just to be clear, the GeoEcoHub is based and primarily for rural communities because we understand the opportunities that are there in rural communities. And a lot of times, the rural communities are supporting our metropolitan cities, let's just be honest. And so as they start to think about growth from a perspective, guess what? They're looking at the rural communities because there's nowhere else to go. I live in Fort Bend County. Right. Of course, if you're for those who may be familiar, um, in a certain city, in the city of Sugar Land, there's only 4% left of land to be built on in that particular city. So just thinking about that when we're talking about metropolitan growth. So this is an opportunity for the rural communities to really be able to, what did they say? I love when my assistant says, stand on business and understand that rural communities are rooted in what's going to drive resiliency, what's going to drive revenue for where they live, but ultimately to make an impact on the state that we live in. And one of the great things about it is we're in Texas, and yes, I always say I'm a proud Texan. I do work across the country, and I tell them the one thing that we have is that we're resilient. I said we're a resilient community. And like, people are like, wait, it's a state. I said, you know what? In Texas, if you live in Texas or you migrated to Texas, everything's up the street. I don't care if you're Houston, Dallas, Austin, on down to the El Paso to the Rio Grande, but there's opportunities. And one thing is that we support one another. And the one thing that I always say as a proud Texan, and even when I got to the opportunity to go to the White House in September of last year, is that we don't just say that. We are truly Texas strong. It's not a hashtag. And we don't believe in living in silos. Yes, we have some of those, but if you really think about the state of Texas, we are a community-based state. And I think that one of the things is that we need to stop overlooking is that Texas is not just Dallas, Austin, and Houston, that our rural communities make up a large mass of this state, and that they deserve resources and opportunities for growth as well.
Wow. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
Thank you. I guess the next pressing question, our listeners are probably trying to figure out is like, how do they, like, if they have a farm or a ranch, how do they become a good candidate for a clean energy hub like this?
So one of the things to kind of just think about is that I would always say no, and be tied into your economic development corporation. Understanding that we are as a our Geo Eco Hub solution, we're going right there to the people who ultimately you're elected to be able to put in these positions. Because just what I shared with Ross and I shared with you, the new PPP for rural community growth is bipartisan support from politicians. That's our elected officials, whether they're sitting from the state, from their state reps or your city councils or your economic development and also the academia. They play a big part in this. So for us, the new PPP for us at Eco Power Source is that it's people permitting, but ultimately it's going to be able to help that we need the people to be able to buy into this and see why this solution is there. This GeoEcoHub in just on an average in a community of 10,000, less than 10,000, we've been able to do the data. And yes, we have, like, what do we say? We have receipts. I'm a former government and auditor and analyst. So bottom line is have receipts for everything. One of the things is to be able to talk about is that we need the buy-in of the people because we don't want to build in communities that don't want it. And so one of the things is a lot of the communities don't want it because they're not educated on it. So this is why it's important for us to let you know that if you are in this position to be able to, and we've identified, and I will say, I can't say, but I can let you know, we've identified 7 cities 17, but we've identified 7 primary cities that we feel like we can help to drive about 50,000 new jobs, bringing
Wow.
this initiative to their communities. We also have the support and have been working with the Texas Workforce Solutions. So this is not something that we haven't done the groundwork on. So let me just be clear. We have done all the groundwork for this. We have bipartisan support, whether that's the state, local, and my business partner has people at the state capitol talking about this. And we have lobbyists who are also pushing this initiative on both sides of the fence. So I just want to make sure that I'm clear there. We also have in the cities that we've identified, we let them know that we need access to be able to have permitting because permitting stops projects. Let's just be honest. It's expensive, but it also can stop a project. And so we have the access to be able to utilize what we need to be able to get those permits. And we are partnered with number 2, Fervo's, and we like Fervo. They've done a lot of great initiatives. They're very well known here in Texas. But we are committed to making sure that we work with companies who wouldn't, if you go to research them, that they have the receipts as well. They're doing projects and on a small scale and on a larger scale. So we're working with an amazing geothermal company who is number 2 in the country. When it comes to geothermal, we have their commitment to be able to come on and be a part of this project for the next 7 to 10 years. So when I say that we've done all our homework, we have, and this project is broke up in 3 phases. So this gives opportunities. When we talk about numbers, we can tell you where those things are going to be. I can tell you with this project, within one city that we've identified, we will create 39,712 new homes, including, and that's not including hospitals and hotels, and these will be state of the art. And one of the things that you should know when we're talking about data centers are the driver. I'm going to just give you a little bit of a background on to show you why Texas is a digital desert. If you are familiar with the DC area, DC is 2.3 square miles. They're not even 3 miles. You can walk there and back. One of the things is they have about 300 to 400 data centers in the DC area. We have less than 75 in Houston, and that's a problem because Houston is the 4th largest city in the country. So not having that stops us as a whole, as a Texas whole, as a digital desert. So we need to be able to come up to comparable to our counterparts in on the East and West Coast, of course, with California dominating when it comes to data centers because they are always forward, they're always ahead of the game. So one of the things for us to be able to do is that we don't want to create a data center we have data centers, and there's some cities, and this is not to take away from them, where there's one person working in the data center. That was not the model that I had when I got this, when I had this vision going into rural communities. We want the people working there, so they're not having to drive 50 miles to be able and spending 50 miles back away from their families. We wanted to create something that they can maintain. This is not a project that's built by us. We will not own your city. We will hand that off and make sure that the people who are there understand how to maintain it. Because building something is great, but if you can't maintain it, guess what will happen? The government will step in, developers will step in, and others who understand or who have the money to bring experts will come in cause silos in that or try to take over. So this is why it's important for us to continue to be able to educate the rural communities that are there. The reason why we're talking to the farmers is because guess what? Anything of this magnitude, I don't care if you hear it from Meta, if you hear it from Google, they have to get your buy-in because that's what all of this takes land. You all have it. So how are you going to leverage this opportunity to be able to continue to be able to expand your family's legacy? This is knowing how to be able to come to the table and say, hey, and I don't mind. I'm not a gatekeeper. Ross has had trust me, for me to even get in front of you, I love what he does. He protects his community. I let him know that this is important to me, but it's also important to a farmer because guess what? My husband has 400 acres of farmland in Huntsville. My family, my mom and dad were raised on farmland before Fresno became regentified. They were the first family who had a color television in Fresno. So when we talk about passion, this goes beyond passion. I've seen too many of us lose our land, which is many times our greatest asset because we didn't realize how important it is to be able to pay taxes. Remember, I told you I come from the other side of the government, so I'm going to tell you what I know. I still do business with the government, but now I'm not a public servant, so I can speak my mind and tell you what the real government truth is. And the truth is that you have more power because you have the thing that if the government doesn't own it, then you do. But how can you work and leverage that opportunity to say, hey, if this is coming to our city or this is coming to our municipality, I want to be a part of it. And here's what I'm willing to do to be a part of it. Here's what I'm willing to be able to give a part of this. Because guess what? For our solution, we're not working with any city, municipality, mayor, city council, EDC, Economic Development Corporation, or academia who won't let the people see what they're seeing. Now, there are some things that we have to be able to get, they have to stay from a legal standpoint because we have to be able to protect our investors. But outside of that, you should be a part of what's happening when the projects like this are coming, whether you all let this project or any other projects. But no, I'm letting you know, and when you say I'm being the Paul Revere. I'm just letting you know that this data centers and renewables and energy and enhanced geothermal is coming. If you want to learn more about it, just go to Google and type in the House Bill 3778. It passed the Senate. It's now in the House. They're talking about geothermal. Guess what? If you don't know about it, I'm telling you how to go and read and keep up with what's happening. So that way you're not surprised when your municipality, your city, and your rural community is now on the forefront of this. So this is some of the things that I want you to do. I also want you to know, because Ross told me I can drop a lot of resources. I want you to go over to I want you to know about the Texas Economic Development Council. I met with 73 economic development corporations in 5 days, and one including New Mexico. Somebody sent from New Mexico. They brought their person here from the EDC from New Mexico because guess what? Texas is what? We drive business and we're an open state. We do business with everyone. So this is where you need to be able to be on the forefront. It sounds crazy when you read that. I like rabbit hole. That's probably why I went into finance. But I want you, I want to be able to give you real things that you can kind of just bite-sized pieces. You don't have to read all of the things, but I'm going to share some things and I'll make sure that Ross gets those out to you. But I want you to know what's coming down and what's happening when bills pass from the Senate and the House with no problem, they're pushing ahead in Texas. And so I'm just telling you because I put together, because I'm a part of an organization where I'm the advocacy chair in governmental affairs. I put together an advocacy day, and on September 19th and 20th, we'll be at the state capitol talking about what's important to farmers, ranchers, women founders, veterans, all the people that they like to say that are underrepresented. I had this conversation and I'm going to say it. I always hear this when people say, oh, when they hear underrepresented, underserved, underbanked, it's not a color. It's a community. If you are in a space where there's not an opportunity for growth, you're a part of that underserved, so stop letting people put tags on you because guess what? There's a town that's probably not too far from you, and we're not the primary people living there, people of color. If they have no opportunity for growth, guess what? They're a part of that underserved, underrepresented, underbanked. So some of those things when we're talking about this, really looking at it, and don't be afraid because they're talking about getting rid of DEI. Remember, DEI is just affirmative action. So what are we doing and how are we changing the conversation so that way we don't lose the things that we have? One of the things is to be able to make sure that he should have a waiting room. Ross should be letting people in, but it only takes a small group. Your voice can impact 100 or 100 million. So you letting what other farmers or other people who are coming up, how many of you are having are talking to and know who your economic development is? I'm going to let you all know something. If you want to know where the what do you say, where the money resides, the county commissioner has the largest budgets in the state. Your precincts have large budgets. So talking to them, and even I don't care how big or small your town is, you should be able to know who's your county commissioner. You need to be advocating and talking to them and letting them know what you need as a farmer. How can they impact? What are their goals? Because guess what? They're elected officials. They're in that seat because someone put them there. So if they want to stay in their seat, then they need to be able to listen to you. And I don't care if you show up, go to sit in some of those. You will be surprised on how much is happening that you don't know about if you just go to those civic meetings and you sit in those city meetings. And most of the time there's no farmers. I rarely see y'all. I'm just gonna be honest. I rarely see y'all. And so guess what? The conversation, ag is always a conversation. Trust me when I tell you that agriculture rule is always a conversation, but it's not enough of a conversation for us to be able to, for them to be able to create change. And you all have, at this time, it looks bleak, but it's not because we need you all. And so it's important for you to be able to show up. I'm asking to join me because this is a team effort. I will share all that I know. I don't mind. I'm not a gatekeeper. We don't get anywhere trying to gatekeep. That is what's kept us divided. And we all know the old saying, a house divided won't stand. And at this time, there's no time for you to be trying to gatekeep, keep resources and all of that stuff. We have to be able to band together. So I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to share with Ross, and I'm going to share with everyone here on within this organization. Here's some opportunities for our farmers to grow. Here are some people who are going there. So I'm going to come back when I go to the Capitol. I'm going to let you know who's for what and what they're doing. So that way that when you go to the poll and you start making conversation, you have these meetings, you're going equipped because they don't expect you to be able to know a lot of the things that is happening to you outside of that. Because let's just be honest, it pains me when I hear someone say, are they like, oh, well, they farm. Oh, so do you think that's all they're doing? They run a business. They're a small, is your business profitable? That party that you can go ahead and send me you can go ahead and send me a link to purchase that. So I never understood that. And so for me, coming and seeing business from your small mom and pops all the way up to your global business, I want you all to know that there's no difference but the lack of access And capital's no problem because guess what? I told Ross, I said, I turned down $100 million of investment money in the last 7 months because this is not a money grab for me. Most people are like, you turned out $100 million to get, yes, I did, because it wasn't the right investors. If they don't understand that our farmers and these rural communities, goes beyond their investment dollars, then this is not the right investment for them. This has nothing to do with me. Like I told them, I said my no means next opportunity. Period. If someone tells you no, put that there. Because guess what? You're going to hear a lot of no's. I heard a lot of no's before I got the opportunity to turn down $50 million twice. But guess what? That no was the best thing because guess what? Now people call my office trying to give us money. I don't think I've went a day without since I've turn down that money that I haven't had a conversation with some type of investor asking how they can be a part of it. I don't have to look for people to now want to partner with us because they knew and they know that this project is more than me trying to create something and then move on to something else. No, the rural communities will show metropolitan cities how to be resilient because climate change is going to happen. You all know firsthand. Most of us city people, we're like, oh, okay, so what's gonna happen? But you know how to be able to survive and know how to fish truly. And most people don't. So utilizing that, and I'm going to show you, and I want to be able to look at your businesses and tell you ways to be able to stop leaving opportunity, money, and resources on the table. That's my pet peeve. I'm allergic to money on the table. I like money to flow. Money thrown forward is an investment. Money thrown backwards is debt. So we got to get out of a debt mindset. We got to get out of a mindset that is always that we're barely getting over. And trust me, I don't come from wealth. Let's just be very clear. I was raised by a single mother and was homeless with 2 kids. I have no problem letting people know that it's in my bio because I want people to know that, you know what, where where you start is not your destiny, but it's what you do with the challenges that you overcome that really make the wealth. So when people talk about getting wealthy, I would rather be wealthy in my mind and to go back to being homeless than to be wealthy in my pockets and make no impact. And so that and have no legacy for my grandkids. So when we talk about this, I understand where you all are. But sometimes we have to be open to be able to say, you know what, it's hard. I'm trying to figure this out. How do we make this work? How do we allow them to see us? A lot of times is we're trying to get their attention when the attention is already when you already have all the resources and tools that you need. You just need others to be able to say, hey, here's an open door, here's some access. Because let me tell you something, I've turned down $50 million and I've gotten $100 million rooms. So 50, so, and I can tell you this, and I want to say this and just know that I'm not saying this to be facetious. I want you to know that asking for $100, 100,000, or 1 million takes the same amount of effort. So when they're asking and you're talking about grants and you're talking about funding, ask for what you need for the future, not just right now. I see too many farmers, I see too many small businesses and mid-sized businesses ask for what they need. But what about 6 months down the road? How are you paying yourself? Because guess what? I don't, yes, we want to be able to have these things, but you also want to have a peace of mind. And so I want you to be able to have a financial peace of mind. And trust me, that's my background. People call me, organizations reach out to me to look and analyze businesses and see what is the problem? What can we do? I want to open up opportunities where I can show you how we won. I'm going to tell you, Eco Power Source Inc. is my second company. My first company, I told you, we do small business advisory and economic development consulting. So when it comes to being able to show you how to put yourself in a position to be able to monetize your gifts and your talents, I can do that with no eyes closed. I don't need a prompt. I don't need a script. If I look at your business, I can tell you where the deficiencies are. I can let you know what you need. My team, I have a team. I don't do this alone. Let me be clear. Let me just be crystal clear that I have a team. I have a team of people that allow, I want you to write this down. And sometimes we have to invest into ourselves. I want you to read the book, The Big Leap. If you don't have the resources to do it, I believe you can type it into YouTube and you can listen to the audio version. One of the things is, as farmers and ranchers and small businesses, that we need to know is we need to work in our zone of genius and allow people who are in their zone of excellence to work or help us to move towards wealth. And so that could be, I love that book. It shifted my mindset on how to be able to do things. And I told you, I don't come from wealth. So I have advisors and people around me. But when I read that book, it was an aha moment. It's another book. It's called Black Fortunes. A journalist from CNBC wrote this, and he looked at all the Black fortunes outside of Tulsa, which is always things. But I'm going to tell you, we had a lot of Black wealth here in this state. We had a lot of Black wealth that nobody talks about. Those two things were there. Those two books go hand in hand, because the first one's going to be able to show you to shift your mind. But the second one is going to be able to show you, man, farmers and ranchers and everybody else that was around surrounding them were the glue. If you look at that book, it's called and I don't, and this Mr. Ross, the author escapes me, but when I tell you, I bought that book during COVID. I've read it 7 times. I'm currently reading it right now. It is always mind blowing to me that when they talk about history, we have done, and we see a lot of Black excellence celebrated, but most of the people that you read in that book you've never even heard of. And these are people who were truly wealthy, not rich. Because wealthy is, those is what they say, there's levels to this.
Yes.
Like it's levels to this. And so even with that, I heard someone tell me, I like to invest. I heard a billionaire tell me this year, oh, they're just a single digit billionaire. In my, what? Oh, they're just single digit. And in my mind, I was just sitting there, but they make the billionaire status. But like they said, it's levels to this. Because I was like, well, they're worth 4, but you said that person's worth 4 billion. Oh, that's single digit. And wasn't trying to be funny about it. But we need to be able to understand, how do we go past what we are. And it's okay for us to want to expand, because if you are able to do it, then you can hire more hands. Y'all need more hands. We can't be the plowing. We can't be sowing, plowing, and pulling it up. We gonna burn out. And you trying to run the business in the back end. That's our processes and procedures. When we start talking about SOPs, I ain't gonna call nobody out, Mr. Ross. I want them to like me. But I was just like, you know what? I'm not the advisor, the coach, or the businesswoman for you if you don't want the truth. Because let me tell you something. The truth is, I was homeless with no address with 2 kids. There's no other truth that's worse than that. And it would have been okay if it was just me, but I made a promise to my children that I'm going to make them trust fund kids. I said that when I hug my children, I'm hugging my grandchildren. So for me, it's important for them to not have to ever be without an address. That is a different situation. And I'm seeing farmers and ranchers lose what their grandparents worked so hard for, because they don't understand how to be the back end stuff. It's not the things. You all are amazing when it comes to feeding the country and making sure that we're able to eat, literally. But sometimes financially, a lot of our systems are broken. And this is why Mr. Ross is, probably losing sleep, trying to help us to understand how important it is for us to be able to manage what we have. And I'm going to tell you something from someone who had a 384, 414, and a 492 credit score. So I don't want anybody on here to feel any kind of way. Okay. Those numbers matter. I'm gonna say it one more time. I didn't even know nobody. I've looked at credit reports and I feel like I'm the only one. I was like, I don't know if they was picking on me, but I was like, I have yet to see somebody in the 300s. And trust me, I got the receipts. I was in the 300s, y'all. And so for anyone who is looking and wanted to be able to expand, I'm going to tell you something. If you want to know, but people ask me all the time, I've been in everything from Forbes to CNBC. I've been on iHeartMedia 4 times. So I just want you to be able to know that I've said the same thing. So you ain't got to watch all those interviews, because when it's your story and it's your truth and it's untransparent and authentic, then you don't have to remember anything, because it's a part of you and it's a part of your story. The one thing that they asked me, they were like, "How did you change? What were the three things that you would tell people?" I said, "I shifted my mindset. I modified my money behaviors, and I understood what the wealthy, the one percenters understand, and that they said they said cash is king, but credit is power." And so it is clear that if you don't have the cash, then I want to challenge you to look at your credit reports. Because a lot of times you don't have the cash because it's on your credit report, and your credit report is telling you how you spent your cash. And I mean, that's another truth moment. Maybe that's just for me, but I want you all to know that if you're looking for funding, then I want to show you how to get it. I don't always have to be a loan. If you're making $3,000, I'm gonna go ahead and just drop this receipt for y'all. If y'all making $3,000 gross revenue right now, right today, at the time of this recording, American Express, all you need is a 640 credit score, and they only pull from Experian. And you can get a line of credit through American Express where you do not have to reapply every 2 years like your traditional banking and your micro lenders. This is a way for you to be able to expand and extend your cash, your monthly, quarterly, and annual cash flow. So I'm just letting you all know that's an easy way. That's when the people ask me, what's an easy number? If you can get to $3,000, then you can really be in that. They only pull for one for those who like, oh, all my credit's bad. Focus on experience. Focus on, if that's your goal. I want you to get all of them. But if you want, I'm gonna let you know, probably American Express probably gonna hate me for this. They probably gonna don't cut me, American Express, if y'all watch this later. I'm just trying to send people your way. But I want us as people of color and farmers and ranchers and small businesses to know where the real money resides. And that's a benchmark if you're not there yet. And let me make sure that I say this. It's not net revenue, it's gross. So gross revenue. So all you need, 640, $3,000 for at least 3 to 6 months. Apply for American Express, line of credit. This is a great way for you to be able to maneuver and utilize the things. If there's some things that you need for equipment, if there's things that you need to be able to enhance, to fix, if there's things on your farm that you need to be able to repair or buy, this is an opportunity. And I share this with my clients, whether they're farmers, ranchers, entrepreneurs, creatives. I just tell them that's a way for you to be able to do it, because more traditional lending is very difficult. So these are ways for you to be able to utilize it. And this is why I said our one percenters in the country, they understand. They understand what they said. They understand that credit is king. So I want you to be able to talk about this. And I'm not sure, Ross, if you found the link. If not, I'll send this in a wrap up, because I know what I said. And I can send those to you all on some resources to be able to help you to get access to funding. And I'm not trying to take over this conversation. I know they have a lot of questions for me, but I just want to be able to make sure that I give you all some reasonable and really actionable things to hit your next benchmark and milestone. Because a lot of times people ask a lot of questions, but what's a resource and what's a takeaway that I said, okay, I know I need to look at my credit report, and I need to be able to know that if I want to be able to get this line of credit, here is what I need to do. The reason why, and this is not a promotion, I'm not being paid by American Express. Let me tell you something. I use them all the time. The reason why I say that is because that many times as people of color and under-resourced communities and farmers and ranchers and business owners, we have had a lot of credit challenges. But I want to be able to let you not feel overwhelmed with what you need to do. I want to let you know, once you get into that family, guess what? I've had one credit pull from American Express. Don't judge me. I got multiple businesses, but I probably got everything that American Express offers, okay? Because I understand how important it is, but I understand about maintaining my credit. And I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to turn it back over so they can answer me another question. The reason why I'm saying this to you all is that I've been able to leverage all of that with both of the businesses with one hard pull from American Express. So I started with a personal credit card, y'all. And they pulled one time, because one thing about American Express, if you treat them good and you pay on time, they treat you good, and they don't impact your credit. Another reason is, number two is, for all my business owners here, because all of y'all are business owners, you're farmers and ranchers, whether you're operating in, and you got to speak of where as you are. When you move to the business side of things, Experian is the conglomerate on the business side when we're talking about building business credit. So I want to let you all know where to be able to look at those things and how to be able to maneuver. You see how I said, stay in the game, keep your head in the game. You have a little something you can keep in your pocket. You know, like if anything else fall through, I got to pay American Express because I can't get out of the thing because I know I need to leverage it over here. So I'm going to come to you and tell you one of those things that are real and verifiable. And I can give you a 1-2 step on how to be able to do it. Trust me, from somebody who was in the threes and fours. I didn't even see 500s. Okay. I was in the threes and the fours. The FICO system start from 300 to 850. I can tell you, I've been in the 800 club for over 10, almost 15 years. And let me tell you something. Let me tell you something. Maybe I get a little cocky, but when I call them, I already know I'm approved. And I'm not saying that you can't be approved, that you can't be not in the 800s. But guess what? Credit is about character. It wasn't about them. It was about me. I wanted to get out of the situation that I was, and I got tired of paying money because I don't want a credit card where you're trying to give me 30% interest, 18. I got a credit card with, I think the lowest one's got like 4%. I'm trying to get them down to 1. I've been asking, I'm gonna keep asking, but I'm just gonna say this. I want to be a resource to this organization. This is not about me. I told you I need the PPP. I can't get the permitting and the politicians without the people. But for me to be able to advocate for you all and say, hey, I may risk it all and try to go back to the White House. I don't know. I'll keep y'all posted. But we got different administration. But I want to be able to talk to the political parties who support me and let them know I got my people with me. And this is what they're doing. And their feet, are you able to go to that grocery store and get what you need, or Instacart and all that kind of stuff? Guess what? You got people, I got people who are doing this for you, but they need your political support. They need a seat at the table. They need to be able to know. If y'all raise your hand, drop y'all email or share it with me. Who wants to come with me? Look, they messed up. Because if they get an invite, I got a plus 20. I was just like, dude, you didn't say nothing. I said, look, I let them know. I wait till my mom always told me apologize later. I was just like, look, if you ask me, Ross, you coming? Okay, you coming? Okay, that's how I work. This is how we're going. If they give me a seat, no, y'all coming with me if you want to go. And don't get in there and just be excited. No, we got to make impact. We got to go in there and be a unified force. Because a lot of times, a lot of people, I asked my mentee to go to the White House with me. She was like, what? What am I supposed to do? Show up. Show up. We showed up, y'all. And Lord, probably, I don't know if you want to, I just knew.
Hey, keep going.
I just
Keep
knew it was going
going.
to be a lot of people. I just knew it was going to be a lot of people, y'all. I said, Lord, it's going to be us. It was less than 40 people. Less than 40. It was 3 persons of color. Me, my mentee, and the county commissioner from Georgia. But guess who was in the room? The head of the governmental affairs for Chick-fil-A. I said, oh, we wasn't even in the room. I said, wait, how is this? So this is why what Ross is telling you all, it starts what happens in the White House, it starts right here. What he's telling you and what the experts that they're bringing here, your vote does matter. But your state and local vote determines what's going to happen at Capitol Hill and what happens at that White House. What happens with our funding starts right here. If you don't, and you don't have to be, because I didn't know my banker either. Trust me, let me tell you something. I was trying to avoid their calls right before I got home. I became homeless. But one of the things is I would challenge you. If you have a bank and and they got a branch, I don't care if you got $25, $2,500, 25,000, and for who made it, a quarter of them, half. I want you all to go in that bank, and I want you to do this. And trust me, I did it, and everybody thought I was crazy. I said, I am trying to evaluate my business banking relationship with you. Here are my goals. How can you help me? And they're like, oh, I said, because I've done my research and your competition offers this. How many times do we do that? We don't. We don't. Because a banking online is not a banking relationship. Because I'm going to tell you why. When you need that loan for your farm and your ranch, they don't know you. Your banker can speak to underwriting. You can't call them. You need someone who says, oh, I know Vonda. I know Stephanie. I know Tiffany. I know Sandra. I know these people. I know that this is going, I know her business. Because let me tell you something. When I was building, my banker was one of the people who got me here. Because guess what? I walked in there like I started that bank account with what the minimum balance was. I say, well, what is the daily where you won't charge me? They told me, I said, okay, cool. So I'm going to put this in here. But here's where I want to be. And guess what? He was just like, okay. I said, I went over there. Because let me tell you something, diversify. Get you a credit union and get you a traditional bank. The reason why I'm telling you this is because guess what? Banking not created equal. Date around when it comes to your banking. Now, from a banking situation, don't mess up your real relationships at home. Banking, you want to date around because guess what? They are trying to make sure that they can get your business. So I go into the bank every quarter and I ask them, why should I stay here? What do you have available? What grants? What resources? What things do you have for women founders, people of color? I run down the list. Because guess what? They got a whole list of things and things that they allocate money towards. And I want to make sure that they ain't miss me. So I challenge you to do the same thing. Because most of the time we are just banking without a plan. They holding your money and leveraging it. And they're giving you pennies. I don't even know if it's pennies anymore, Mr. Ross. I don't even know if it's pennies on the dollar anymore. I mean, with these rates. But I want you all to know, and I think I've seen some hand raises, but I want you all to know that we in this together. I'm not, if only one of us wins, is it really a win? Because guess what's gonna happen? You're gonna be the first Black or the first farmer or this or and it's okay to be a trailblazer. But if the trail has no footprints, was it a win? Was it a win? Because if only your footprint was there, climate gonna cover it up. And that's what's gonna happen. But if there's no one behind you, I always tell people, they're like, well, do you get lonely? I said, no, how's it lonely at the top? I never understood that. I said, no, I took people with me. I said, so it's only lonely at the top because guess what? It's okay. It's seasons in your life and your business, and you're going to have tunnel vision. But if you get to the top and you are part of that cliche that it says that it's lonely at the top, that's because you never had a plan to bring others along with you. It's a difference between reaching back is great, but moving forward is a team effort. Because let me tell you something. You got to be able to pass the baton. You should always have an exit strategy. Eco Power Source is a new company. It's not new to everybody when we put all the conglomerate together. But I have another company that my director of operations is going to become the CEO because I can't divide my time when I'm on assignment to be able to make impact with rural communities. So what's your exit strategy? Most farmers don't have it. Most ranchers don't have an exit strategy. Your kids depending on what the age, when they were born, like my child told me, he said, Mom, your birthday, the year you were born starts with a 19. What was that like?
He needs to calm down.
Yeah, look, he 9. He was just like, Mom.
He needs to
So,
calm down.
yeah, I said, so your year that you were born starts with a 19? That's wild.
Wow.
He's 9. So that put it in perspective for me. So he's just like, if you're 19 to him, he don't even know why you still here. Okay, because for me, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any. I know y'all, I'm funny. It doesn't even make any sense. But when he said that, it made me think about legacy. And you know what he tells me all the time? He said, Mom, I'm the co-boss. He said, let your team know that this is our business. So it's important for us to start training them up so that way they can see it. Yes, do I want him to go to college? Do I want him to do this? But I need him to know that this farm in this ranch is it first. Before he goes out there and uses his talents and skills somewhere else, I need to be able to know that he knows how to farm and ranch this right and plow this. Because if he doesn't, then guess what? He's just gonna sell my business into someone else. And I'm not asking him to do this, but I want him to be able to know the transfer if he does. I want him to understand what a trust means. Yes, I want to be able to trust you in the real sense, but I need you to understand that this business is going into trust, because I don't know if I can trust you not to sell what we have, and then you try to figure out you selling it for next to nothing, and I done put all my blood, sweat, and tears in it. But let's take it back to you all. What's your exit strategy? Because when we talking about funding, you talking about grants. But let's get out into the money, because this is where I thrive. When we talking about money, they say, so what you plan on doing? I want you to know 3 things. I want you to know benchmark, milestone, and exit. Because that's what the wealthy understands. I want you to understand that Jeff Bezos only owns 12% of Amazon. I'm just what you were thinking. We try to hold on 100% of what? He a billionaire off of 12%. You see those? So I really want us to start thinking about our wealth picture. I said, but you know what? How is it the 1%? I would love for the new statistic to be 1% of the ranchers that Mr. Ross has connected with owns this amount of the wealth in Texas. So would that other system really matter? You know what? We from Texas, you know what the other system is. So would that really matter? Would it really matter? I want to be able to show you all how to be able to position your ranch, your farm. But first of all, y'all have ideas that could help Mr. Ross take this to municipalities, county commissioners. They're scrambling right now. I want you to really think about this. I'm in Houston, the 4th largest city in the country. I know I wasn't the only one who read that when they said the city of Houston is broke. House. What? House way? How? How? So when you really think about it, I want you to sit there for a second. This is the 4th largest city in the country. Do you see the power that you all have?
Yes.
I just want you to think about what I just said for all the people in the back, the people that's gonna watch this on the replay. I know City of Peace probably not gonna comment no more, but I just want you to think about that.
They'll call
So
you.
if they're the 4th city, what's going on in 14? This is number 4. 500,000 people moved here. So what's going on with 14? 24. The other cities down the list. You all have all that you need at this moment right here, with all the chaos that's going on, all the chaos, with all the things that are going on. But how are you going to utilize it in this sense? How are you going to gravitate and utilize it to be able to go and say, I need to talk to my banker. I need you to know your bail team, your banker, your attorney. You need to have insurance. And then you need to make sure you got legal. Then you throw that on with your credit. You throw that in, you know your credit, you're unstoppable. When you have those things that I just said, those things right there will change your financial trajectory. Funding will follow you. Doors will open with people and opportunities where people will ask you to come in. I like reserved seats, not musical chairs. A lot of times we're always like, I'm just trying to get in the room. Why? What is it? Do you know the players? Have you done the research? Because I don't want to get into it's okay. And it's cool to be in a room and you learn. Please, please learn as much as you can in the room. The one thing that my mentor told me, learn and leverage. Learn and leverage. Because that's what creates legacy. If you can learn and leverage what you learned, that's what makes you, that's what creates legacy. Because guess what? I'm going to tell y'all something. When he told me that, when my mentors told me that, I said, oh, he said, you know, you're going to have a hard time, young lady. This is a Caucasian man, 80-year-old man. He said, you're going to have a hard time. He said, but the one thing is that you're not scared to learn and then go show others what you were taught. He said, that's what's going to get you in the room. This is from a Caucasian older male that was 80 years old. He said, I said, how do y'all create legacy? He said, I just told you, the 2 L's, learn and leverage. That's it. And then wrap that up with that what I just said. When you got that bail team in your credit, it's a true pathway for you to be able to now go to what you need. Because guess what? In this country, you're not getting around credit. We built on it. It's a way to keep you in debt or leverage it. That's it. If you don't understand it, they will keep you trapped. If you understand it, they will open the, isn't it? Is it what she said? Credit is
Power.
I don't trust you. or I trust you because you pay. But if you learn that and you leverage it and do what I just said, then guess what? You keep doing it over and over again. I was shocked. Lowe's called me. I lost my card in Lowe's the other day. Great customer service. They were trying to help me find it. Lady called me yesterday. The manager. She said, hey, Sharita, we found your card. I said, oh, okay. I've already canceled it. But she said, but I'll come pick it up so I can shred it. Then she says, but by the way, did you know that Lowe's does Lowe's Pros Days? And for those who have commercial accounts, we like to feed you all and let you all know what's happening and what Lowe's has going on. I've been spending my money here. That's what I had to figure this out. But how many times do we need those things? How many times do we understand this? Home Depot, and I'm going to stop here. I want y'all to think about this. We don't shop in Home Depot enough for them to be a billion-dollar company. Most of the time, we go in there and look for a deal, something happening at your house, or something happens, you try to get the low. Okay, you might spend a little bit more. But we, as consumers, don't make enough for them to be a billion-dollar company. You know what they make their money from? Government. Lowe's came up with a pathway to pro. They teach people how to be able to get into carpentry, HVAC. It's a free program. You think it's free? Because they understand how to learn, leverage, and to continue to be able to get people into their pipeline. So I want to stop right there because I know they have some questions. I think there's some questions in the chat.
There are a few questions.
Got
Okay, let's go.
got a few, but man, you dropped so many gems. Every time I was about to add, I'm crossing off questions. I like so great. I mean, especially the learn and leverage, but there's so many more in there. But I'm gonna stop at the learn and leverage because that's the latest one
That's the
that you.
legacy.
Oh, and I'm so glad you're hitting on these. Learning leverage so often as adults, we think we get out of school and we know everything. We stop learning. And that's us as a people. We think, hey, I know enough. I'm gonna stop there, not realizing, just like the guy told you, you don't need to be the smartest person in the room. You just need to be connected to them to a point where they're gonna give you the game anyway. That's
That's it.
what you've been sharing with us. And
Right.
that's what I'm trying to get my brothers and sisters to see. Always be learning, always be seeking to learn information. I don't care if it's dropping a credit card at Lowe's. That's information that you previously didn't get. So thank you for hitting it, because sometimes I'll be like, man, I hope I ain't preaching to these folks where they think,
No,
just saying it.
you're
And to hear
sharing.
you say some of this stuff, I don't need to ask no questions. But let's get to this
Yeah, let's get to
raised
the
hand we
question.
got here.
Yeah, what's the raise? We got some raised
All
hands.
right.
Okay.
User, I only see you as user 7666
Hey,
88. I've given you the opportunity to unmute yourself and ask your question. I know your hand's been raised for quite a while, so if you're still there, feel free to unmute yourself and ask. Uh, I think they might be. Is it? Well, if you do come back, please feel free to ask your question in the chat. We do have some questions in the
I think they just tried.
Q&A.
Did they
We
try
have
to?
two questions in Q&A.
Okay.
And the first one is, does EGS involve fracking? That's the first question. And I believe they're referring to the Geo, right? Does it involve fracking? I'm not fully familiar, and I don't.
So that so one of the things is, are they asking, does the Geo Eco Hub? I just want to make sure that I am answering that question. So if that
Yeah,
to come off of mute.
maybe they can clarify what EGS stands for. I believe is the.
I think it's the ecothermal system, I guess.
Yeah, but I want to make sure that I'm answering their question. Um,
And and the next question we have is
yes.
ecothermal
Yes.
system.
So yes, for the enhanced geothermal, it will involve the hydraulic fracking. But the great thing about one of the things that I can say about that is that our proprietary solution was overlaid with the DOE. And so working with our geothermal team, we will have, because one of the things that we will do, just so you all know, we will do a feasibility study for this project. So we will share that with any, when we're going into rural communities, a feasibility study will be done. So we won't be just disturbed. We won't just be drill, baby, drill. We will be very strategic on knowing where we're going to drill and how far down to be able to make sure that we can get tap into that geothermal. So just so that we know that, that you know that. And so I think there's another question: how does the farmer from geothermal, how does the
How does the farmer from geothermal power supply? How does the farmer? I guess there's a typo there, but how does the farm? I guess how does the farmer farm?
oh, make money? Okay, got it. Okay,
Yeah,
I got it.
how is the
So
payment and royalty? Mineral rights impact the farmers getting paid or make
yes,
money?
and so that is one of the things, that's why I wanted to work with Ross, is because when we're talking about looking at your potential land, just know that when that feasibility study comes, we will know exactly where those, if let's just say for the person who just answered, I'm just going to say Alex, your land is one of the ones that we identified where we feel like there is a possibility for geothermal. We would work with you, Ross, and whoever your legal team is, and know that we're not coming here. And one of the things that let me just be clear. I am trying to avoid as much internet domain as possible. I've made that very clear to Ross and his team. And so even if we have to go onto your land, know that you will be richly rewarded for your opportunity, and that we will advise you on ways to make sure that once our project is complete, that you know what to do and where to be able to go. Because remember, knowing your city council and knowing your EDC, those people and those systems, those cycles will change. But we want the farmers to know that just because the people may change, what's in that contract doesn't. And so that's why it's important for you all to have that Bell team. It is going to be very vital, and it is beneficial. And so that's why being a part of this organization is so important, because they're going to drive you and push and let you know what legal things are going to be beneficial to you. But always, always, always make sure that you understand to negotiate. Okay. Don't, I hate to say this. My investors probably, and just and I'm pretty sure your municipalities don't like this, but we have been robbed too many times for taking the first offer. So this is why I would highly encourage you to make sure that you stay very close to this organization, because one of the things is that I'm going to share with him is when we hear, whether it's us or other organizations who are moving within this is why it's important when they ask you for that survey, complete that survey, because they're not just doing this just to be able to keep that information for themselves. This information is for them to be able to say, if they look at us and Mr. Ross reaches out to me and say, hey, Sharita, this person is from this particular city that came here. Is this an opportunity for you all, or y'all looking at this? Guess who's going to know first? You all. So that way you can start strategically planning. So before the city or your municipality starts to come to you, you already know what's happening, because you have access to this team and this organization, because we're going to share, hey, here's a heads up, here's what's coming down the pipeline. So if there is a opportunity for others to get involved in this, they know exactly what to be able to do this. How does someone get involved in supporting this? Okay, so knowing this is a good question, because I think this was one of y'all questions. So Tiffany asked your question already. So
Yes,
how do
she
you
did.
how do you get involved with the GeoEcoHub? One of the things is to make is in supporting this is to letting me or letting Ross and letting their team know, Uchin, what is it and how do you want to get involved? That's the first thing. Because what are some ideas? Like, we can tell you how we would like for you to get involved, but one of the things is to say, here is how I feel I can be involved in this project. Here is what it is, because I'm going to share with him, and I'm going to send you all I'm going to send you the one pager of what the project looks like. They're going to share this with you. I'm going to give it to them. I'll email it to you, Uchin and Ross, so that way you can look at this project and be able to know. But we also have a checklist. Let's just be clear, because we get this. I get calls every day, Mr. Ross and Uchin. People ask me, does our rural community qualify? First of all, is you have to have certain things. And so when you say this, one of the things is I would say is, does your community want change? I think Mr. Ross said that. I think that was one of the things that made me say yes to him. Like, this because he said, you know what? Everybody don't want change. Some people are okay with it how it is. It's been this way, and that's just how it is. If that's where you live and that's where the temperature is right now, then your first job is not the GeoEcoHub. Your first job is to figure out, do you have the right political parties in office where you live? Because if they don't want change and you do, how will it work? Are you going in there and talking to them and saying, hey, there's opportunities for us to be able to do something? What can we do? Now, everybody may not get a data center and all of those things, but do you have let's just be clear. This project is closing the digital divide, because most rural communities don't have quality broadband. Part two, building those data centers powered by geothermal so we can create more jobs. But phase one creates jobs, because we got to go into that ground and make sure that we can bring you up to quality broadband. The last part is where the resiliency piece comes in. That's the hub. We call it the triple H. state-of-the-art hospitals, hotels, homes. That's what's going to drive people moving into your community. That's how you're going to retain the student talent that comes into your community. Because if there's a place for them to work, where they went to school and graduated, or those who moved to your city or municipality and they have opportunities for trades, that's where you start to see economic growth. So when you ask about how can you get involved, ask yourself and just be honest. How does the community that I live in want to see change? And if, or have they attempted change? And if they have, do you know why it didn't happen? Was it because of the three P's? Politicians, people, or permitting? If you don't know, those are so when you ask the simple thing on how to be able to do this, yes, as a new farmer, yes, we want new farmers, because you never know what's on your 1 or 2 acres, Tiffany. Who would have known? And I'm going to share this with you all. Who would have known that a city that is 45 minutes to an hour, depending on the traffic, outside of Houston, has the opportunity for enhanced geothermal growth? They have less than 8,500 people. But who knew? So people ask me, how did you land on rural communities? I've worked within rural communities, and I've seen the opportunities for growth, and I've been championing and trying to tell them that it's going to come a point where the rubber meets the road, and you're going to see how you have overlooked expansion that's not about homes. Expansion comes about the people. When the people see that there's value for them, then they will allow growth to happen. There won't be so much resistance. And guess what? When those big things follow, then you bring big business. When you have the people on board and the political figures, and you have the permitting, and you have the things for people to be able to come in and create opportunities, and you're willing to be a part of it as farmers and ranchers, it's a slam dunk. It's a slam dunk. It takes all of that. When people ask us, what does it take? That's the minimum. But also, there has to be an understanding that I want to be able to share this with you all, that we get this question all the time, especially me, from your municipalities and your cities. We do not want to come in and put any other tax burden on you. That would defeat the purpose of this project. Our whole initiative is to bring the opportunities, the money, and the economic growth to you. It is on your municipalities and the people who make decisions where you live to allow us to either educate them and connect them and make sure that they understand that this is a project-based initiative. So nobody wins here. If we don't do what we say, then our investors don't win either, because they don't get those tax credits. You see how everybody has a stake in it? Most of the time that doesn't happen. The investors have a verified interest, clearly, but they know that if we don't do our part, that their money went nowhere, because if they don't have the people and they don't have the support of you all, then it doesn't happen. So this is why this project is picking up a lot of steam, because most of the time you're just settled when somebody decides to make development in your community. You're just stuck with the tax repercussions of that. And they're like, hey, we're just going to roll up the property taxes, or this is going to be taxed, or you're going to start seeing these things. That's not how this project works. And so that is why a lot of rural communities are reaching out to us, because they know that they have a stake in it, and that it's going to be no real impact to them from a tax perspective, because it's project-based. So if we don't get this project done, nobody wins. So that is one of the things that I wanted to be able to make sure that I say, because a lot of times when people talk to farmers and ranchers, they're not transparent. They tell them all the good stuff. What can stop this project is the 3 things that I just said from at the beginning. Not having the support of bipartisan, not having the support of the people, and not having access to the permitting. The reason why we need access to the permitting is because if you want this, that means we have to have the permits to be able to make sure that we can move this project into your municipality and your county. But we also need to make sure that we can access water. The great thing about this project is that water, that geothermal, it's this, you got to think right now, where no matter where you're sitting at, there is heat underneath your feet. That is the problem. When you think about this project, I want you to know that this project is about utilizing what is already there to create a lower energy cost to bring quality broadband. Because why do we have to turn our cameras off in rural when we're having a Zoom meeting in rural communities because of the lack of quality broadband? That is unheard of. There is communities that are on 2 and 3G when the standard is 5. But many of these commercial companies don't see a benefit when there's not 100,000 people or 500,000 people moving. And so we just settle as farmers and ranchers and small business. That's just how it is. No, it's not. There's money allocated to change this with your state and your local municipalities. And I just want to be able to make sure that you get your just due. And I'm with Mr. Ross. I will stand with him on it. It's a hard fight, but it is it is yours for the taking. But you have to show up to be able to know it's available. I don't mind showing you how to be able to look at your credit reports, but you got to be transparent. I don't need all the backstory. Things happen. we all had a T-Mobile or or a thing or a light bill go to collections. And for those who got some things, we already know you went there for blood work and not in the potential $700 bill that you can't pay for. Now it's on your credit report. Hey, do I eat? Take care of my farm, or do I pay this bill that y'all don't want to work out no payment plan on? I've been there. So we have to be transparent to be able to move the needle. And I'm here to be able to help you all to be able to move that. And what I don't know, no, I told you I do the other L. I leverage my network and I'll bring the people, and they ain't gonna charge you. Okay, they're not gonna hit you over the head. Now, some of them you're gonna have to pray because your tax professionals, illegal things. Now I can work out something, but it'll be for your benefit. But I need you to do the foundational things, because no point in you talking about mineral rights and all these type of things when there may be some things that they say, well, you need to do to your land to be able to even be able to move this thing towards being able to write a check. So we need to be able to make sure that from the foundation that you're ready, that we get back to the business basics. So that means being transparent and saying, hey, I need help. You need to let Ucha know, and you need to let Ross know. I ain't probably looked at my credit report. I'm not going to ask you, blink twice if you didn't. But I need a list from them, because I'm going to go back to my team today and say, hey, we've picked our organization of choice for 2026. Because every year we work pro bono or very low cost. And so, Mr. Ross, you didn't know that. I'm going to talk to my team, and it's a team effort. In my original company, I'm going to ask them, will they help you all to get ready? You can't worry about what happened in January. January gonna be here in a few months. There's tax credits and things. I told you we got lobbyists that's there at the Capitol, and I want y'all to be ready and not scrambling. I can't work in chaos. My introvert shuts off. Okay, I was just like, so I want us to use the rest of the year to go into the new year ready. Because what I would hate is for you not to be ready for your moment and it miss you. It's gonna come back around, because it's for you, it'll come back. But I don't want you to miss it. So you have my commitment. This is being recorded. I'm committed to my commitments. So if I have your yes and your buy-in, now you can't. Uchi, y'all caught me. It's like you give me another list. But I am saying here that you all are my organization of choice. So that way, when I go and speak to the people that's in the room, They say, well, who you got? I got my people with. They ready. So they were like, oh, we short on land. No, hold tight. No, we're not. We got the people. Now, this is what it's gonna cost you. That's when you get your, that's when the Bell team come important. You see what I'm saying? Like all this go tie in. But if y'all want my help, I will do it. But know that I'm doing it because I know I know what's on the way. It's some wins and some benchmarks and some milestones. And the one thing is I told y'all, it's funding on the way. But you got to be ready for it. Because if you don't, I've seen too many farmers, ranchers, entrepreneurs, people in ideation, just trying to figure it out, side hustles, gigs, freelancers. They get money and that's all they got. Because if you can't tell me what you did with that grant money when it's come to tax time, as I close out, IRS gonna make you pay it back. Okay? Because if you use a grant and you mismanage it, no, you probably could set yourself up for an audit. Because most grants and funders right now, they want to be able to see what you did with it. But if you don't have the mindset of learn and legacy, you're going to lose. It's the opposite of the you're going to lose in every way. And I don't want you to see that because let me tell you something. The IRS is biased. They unbiased. They call the rich, the wealthy, and everybody in between. And so I want to be able to make sure that we're ready, Mr. Ross and Uchin. So if you all will have my team and I will talk to them on this evening, and we will make you all our organization of choice for 2026. And we will come in and help you all to be able to be a part of what we're doing. But we're going to start with the basics and we're going to look at where you all are so that way I can help you and to help you to identify how to respond and react to RFPs, grants, opportunities for funding. That's easy. We do that with our eyes closed. But for you to be able to do it, I need the commitment from leadership. Because we'll come in and do it. I will come in and make sure that we look. So if y'all, I know we got about 1 minute left. Anybody has any questions?
We all in, just so you know. We already done spoke, so you know what's that. But looks like we do. Let's see. Do we have any more questions here? We don't want to keep you all over time.
We have one question from Tiffany. She says, in your initial assessment, do you discuss how this could support or the owner can support land health while also developing sustainable infrastructure for people?
Yeah. Yes, we do. In our initial assessment, we do all of this. We are going to be when I say very transparent, whatever municipality, whatever city we go into, they will see that full feasibility. Of course, there's going to be some things that we can't share just from a municipality and because of our investors. But when it comes to the land health in each portion of this project, you will know. And from the initial phase, as we start to move on, the cities, the municipalities, the farmers, the ranchers, they will know who the people are. Because it's important for my team and I and my advisors, we will have people who will have town halls. So all these questions, we're bringing all the experts. And we're requiring them to be in the room to be able to answer some questions. Now, can we get back to you? No. You need to be able to answer the farmers and ranchers because you're asking them to come in and be a partner in this project. This is a partnership. Okay. So you got to come into the mindset of this is a partnership. Yes, it's a benefit for both. So when we're talking about what that land health and what all of those things are going to look like, this is where it's going to be important that the things that I didn't discuss and all the other experts that come before me or after me, that you understand that they're bringing those things because opportunities like this are going to be before you. So it's important to look at your own land health. What does your land look like? Is it ready for opportunities like this? If not, what do you need? Who do you need? So that way we can see who's in our pipeline to be able to help assess those things. Like I said, I have a team of experts. When that little, because the website will only let you do so much. That's just few spots of the people who are on our team. That's not including the advisors and all of the consultants that we have on each phase of this project. I took my time. I didn't rush this. So I want you all to know you're going to get to know me. I'm going to see how Ross and I can work this out, that I can do this in person. I want to come to you. I'm up the street. So I want you to be able to come here. I want to be able to come to you all. So with that, Ross, Uchin, thank you so much. I know we didn't get
Thank
to all
you.
the questions, but I hope that I touched on some of those. And I hope that this was helpful, and I hope that you all will accept the help. I'm not pushing myself on you. Ross, please follow up with me and let me know.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
But I would love to be able to work with you all and move forward on some type of partnership where we can come in and support the work that you're doing.
Well, thank you so much. This is uh, such great info. And we look forward to that one pager, and we'll go from there. Uche, can you share with everybody just how we can, not only the one pager, but how they can engage?
Of course, of course. I'm. Thank you so much again, Sharita. Really appreciate your time and everything you share with us. For all our guests, please, please, please. We always ask that if you want to stay in tune with what we have going on within the organization, please sign up for our newsletter. You can visit tsfrcbo.org. Sign up for our newsletter. That'll be a great way for you to learn about upcoming events, the farmer features that we have as well. And of course, you can also see links to some of our prior knowledge forums, like this amazing one, so you can learn more about what's going on in our future. We also have other opportunities as well. If you're not aware, we also have our cohort for our Salt to Profit cohort. That is even a more in-depth opportunity where you, as a farmer, you get additional knowledge, which is provided to you free. But all we ask is that your participation is important. We don't want you to be a fly on the wall as a Salt to Profit cohort member. We want you to participate wholeheartedly. So when you sign up for the newsletter, you will also receive information regarding that opportunity as well, which will also further your education in farming and ranching. So yeah, I think that's about it, right?
That's it. I
Awesome. Well,
look forward to it. Thank you so much for having us. My team said yes, as long as you all say yes. Sorry if you saw me looking down. They're super excited. So I look forward to
awesome.
working with you all. Thank you so much. And so I guess I'll see you all on what they say on there. I'll see you all in the very near future. Thank you so much for the opportunity to be able to share the work that I'm doing and for having me. We're excited to work with all of you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And we're going to end it here, y'all, so we can get you back to your families. And as we always say, be
Be
the
the
exception.
exception.
Take care, y'all.
Take care,
Take care.
everyone.